Hey, what's up, guys? This is Q, and welcome back to Let's Bug Q. And today, I'm gonna tell you how to feed your mantis. Now, that's like the first question I usually get breeding and selling mantises is how do I take care of it? How do I feed it? And usually people get their mantis as young as possible, so they'll have the most time they can with them because they only live for like a total of 2 years tops. So they usually start off with fruit flies. You know, the little annoying little gnats that buzz around your house every summer and you can't figure out where they came from or why they won't go away. Same flies. But these ones are actually scientifically, genetically engineered to basically repress the muscles that make them able to fly. That way, they can be better food for pets. The pets can find them, eat them, and they're easier to deal with. But they're still a pain in the butt. And today I'm going to show you how to make them a little less of one. So basically, right here, I think it's a girl, I'm not sure, but I have a ghost mantis. She's probably really hard to see because she looks a lot like the moss I have to control the humidity in the enclosure, but I'll take her out so you can get a good look at her. I think it's a her. Let me see. You can usually tell by counting the segments. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I'm pretty sure this is a female. Check her out. I don't know if the focus on the camera will help you see her. But basically, if you keep them in the enclosure, or at least close to the enclosure, mantis aren't really that skittish. They don't jump and fly away and act too crazy all the time. At least mine don't. And when you order a mantis from me, what you're gonna get is a 32-ounce container of fruit flies. Basically, this is a Drosophila heidii flightless fruit fly culture. And basically, the fly media is what they pretty much live on, eat, lay their eggs on, all in one container. And what these do is they fly around, they eat the stuff, they get comfortable, they mate, they lay eggs. The eggs turn into larvae, which you can call maggots, and they turn into more flies, and you can keep feeding your pets. But the thing is, they're really tiny. They're not super fast, but it's a lot of them, and they get really annoying. And what I like to tell people is tapping is key. As long as you can tap this, they are no match for gravity. Gravity will always win. So what you want to do, if you have a enclosure like this and you don't have that many in there that haven't reproduced yet, you could actually just pop the top off like that and just tap. Get about 3 or 4 out, and that's how you can kind of control how many are in there. And then what you would do is you get your mantis, make sure that they're not too close to the sides, because if you try to close your enclosure while they're there, you can break their feet off. That's not good for them. If their feet are broken, then they can't hang upside down to molt. They have bad molts and they die. So you make sure the feet aren't too close to the edge, and bam. Now your mantis is in there with the fly. Oh, let's try that again. Now your mantis is in there with the flies, waiting for the flies to come by. He or she will snatch them right up. Now another thing I like to do, this does not want to stay on. Interesting. Now another thing I like to do, I have hundreds of mantises. Most of them are small. I keep them in like little small containers, similar to this one, just temporarily, not all the time. But this is how I feed like my hundreds of mantises. The key is to buy a sauce bottle, like the ketchup, mustard, cookout bottle type deal. Get you one of these. Then you also need a funnel. And all you're pretty much going to do, you get your funnel, stick it in your bottle, and you basically do the same thing. See how they're all at the top? That's hard to deal with. So you tap them, get them from the top, and now you can just tap them into the funnel. Now the key is you tap everything at once. That way they don't crawl back up out of the funnel. See? Tap, 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 tap. And now this way you can get as many as you want. You can get them all out if you need to. Put them in like that. Tap again to make sure they don't crawl out. Make sure none's crawling out of there. And now you got your top. You can pop your top on. And now all you have to do, shake them down, and you can actually choose how many flies you actually want to feed your mantis at a time, while still having a lot inside the bottle to feed the rest of them. And what I like to do, fly got away, is just kind of crack the container. I don't even take it off if I don't have to. Stick it in there, squirt some flies in there, bam. Now they can eat. You didn't spook them too much. You didn't have to disturb them. You still got some flies left to feed the rest of your mantids or your dart frogs or your other animals, and then you're good. I also like to feed and water them at the same time. And what I usually do, especially if you buy mantis from me, you'll get a little spray bottle, put some spring water or evaporated water. Drinking water works too, but I don't know if you know, but our drinking water, even if you like buy some drinking water from Walmart, has a little bit of chlorine in it. That's not necessarily good for your mantis, and it takes away the good bacteria that the mantis needs to make them healthy. But I kind of do the same technique, crack it open a little bit, and I'll spray maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times in there. Try your best not to spray your mantis. They hate that. Not only that, but it makes it harder for them to regulate temperature, and they need to be a certain temperature in order to digest well. So if you're constantly getting them wet, you're going to spook them. The temperature's off. They're not going to be comfortable. They're not going to digest well. They're not going to grow as good, you know? And that's pretty much it. It's really that simple. There's also another method that I use. Let's say sometimes you have your culture. Sometimes you have your culture, and the medium will start to get a little more liquidy, because as you know, flies, you may or may not know, when flies eat, they kind of regurgitate the acid out of their stomachs, digest the food from the outside, and then eat it back in. So it's gonna get kind of messy down there, and a lot of times you can't tilt your culture to the side to get your flies out, because you don't want all that gook to start coming out into your bottle or into your enclosure. So what I actually do is I'll get a plastic container. The bigger the better. Doesn't necessarily have to be this big, but I'll get a nice clean plastic container, and what I'll actually do is I'll get a little bit of oil. It doesn't really matter what kind. Mineral oil will work good too. Sometimes vegetable oil, but it's just a little cleaner to maybe use mineral oil. And take a thin layer, and you put right around the edge, maybe like 1 inch deep of the plastic container. And what that'll do is it'll stop the flies from actually crawling out. They can't fly, and their little feet can't get a grip on that slick surface. So I don't have any with me right now, but if you put the oil on the sides and you can't tilt the container, you can actually just stick them in there, open them up, and then let them crawl out on their own. Then they'll get into the container. They won't be able to climb out. You can close the container back, tap this, and now you have a big container full of flies only that you can put in your enclosure or your bottle or wherever you need it. And then even then, once your flies start to reproduce, there'll be I'll say cocoons left from the larva left inside the culture. And you don't want that coming through here, because it'll get clogged. You might not necessarily want it in your enclosure, because then it'll breed bacteria and things like that. And this method kind of helps so that you don't knock anything from inside your culture into your container to feed to your animals. And that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is like my first instructional video. Whenever I sell a mantis, most of the time it comes with a 32-ounce culture, water bottle, nice care guide so you know what to do. But now you have a quick little video. Catch you guys later. And if you love this video, go ahead, give me a like, subscribe. It's my first time on YouTube. I'm brand new. And if you have any other techniques, any other information that you think will help me, feel free to comment. Feel free to tell me. If you feel like, yo, that's completely wrong, you gave the wrong information, let me know. I'm just a hobbyist. I'm not a biologist. But thank you guys, and until next time.